Hi everybody, welcome to another Thursday night live stream. Hope you've all had a nice week and had a nice Easter. Hope you managed to get plenty of chalky eggs. Yeah. Okay then. So you'll probably know if you've seen me, the thumbnail I usually do a couple of days before I go live. Tonight, we're going to be discussing collecting physical media. So, for instance, what's your favourite kind of physical media? Do you like Blu-rays? Do you like DVDs? Do you prefer the slipcovers? Doesn't it bother you without the slipcovers? Have you got a favourite, boutique label, what you buy from regularly? Things like that. Anything at all to do with physical media. So I hope to, as usual, hope to be on say around about 10 o'clock, but let's see how it goes anyway, guys, and just see how the night pans out. Yeah, I see we're getting a couple of comments in already, a couple of people are filtering into the room. Brian's here, Brian Gilson. Hi Alan, how are you? Hope you are well. I'm not too bad, thanks Brian. Yeah, hope you are too. Yeah, thanks for turning up. Always nice to talk to you. Kevin's here. Hi Alan. You okay, Kev? Thanks for turning up, mate. Yeah. Cheers, mate. Jeff's here. Hello. Hiya, Jeff. You okay, mate? Hope you've had a nice week. Yeah, thanks for turning up. Yeah, so as I say, yeah, it's all good. It's going to be about collecting physical media in all its many forms, So, I can talk about physical media till the cows come home, And I don't like, to be quite honest with you guys, I don't like the way a lot of these stores now are sort of like scaling down the stock of DVDs and Blu-rays. It's all to do with that. Streaming's played a big part, hasn't it? In the sort of like the way physical media is sort of like reducing. So I'm not very happy about that, because I'm an ardent physical media collector, and I think it's very sad, really. Especially some of the supermarkets, they completely stopped selling physical media altogether, I just hope all the streaming craze sort of like implodes on itself eventually, and we get back to sort of like more collecting physical media, it increases again, and that, because vinyl came back, didn't it? Well, I know physical media hasn't completely gone, but I'm just sort of like some kind of example, who'd ever thought the vinyl would make a comeback. So yeah, I don't think physical media will ever die out, because there's too many fond collectors. There's too many fond collectors of DVDs and Blu-rays, so I think it's going to be there all the time. But you'd always get that sort of pang of fear when you see, you go into a store and you see it's been reduced, So yeah, right, guys, onto the comments. Gina's here. Hi Alan, everyone. You okay, Gina? Thanks for turning up. Kevin William Wardle, you're welcome, Alan. Thanks, Kev. Lewis Clark. You okay, Lewis? Hang on. Hi Alan, how you doing, mate? Hope you've been watching some good horror movies. Yeah, I've been watching some good ones, and I've been watching some, as per usual, some bad ones. Yeah, I watched a good one. It wasn't really a horror movie, but it was a very, very dark. It was a very, very dark movie, and if you follow me reviews, quite a lot, you probably know the movie I'm referring to, The Deep End. Very, very good movie starring Jane Asher. Yeah, and it's got a bit of everything in it, really. It's got like comedy, it's got romance, it's got a bit of awarenesses, if you know what I mean. And but that very, very dark ending, guys. Very, very dark ending. So yeah, so that I enjoyed that one. Watched one on Prime last night, starring Oliver Reed, from 1973. It was a kind of a foreign vehicle for him. It wasn't very good. His wife gets kidnapped and that, and he goes after them and that. Yeah, but I wasn't too keen on that one. But I'm very glad to say me Blu-ray arrived today of the Dark Walker. So that's the movie with Barbara Stanwyck, so I'm very pleased to own that on Blu-ray. Tony Crosby's here. Evening, Alan, and all. You okay, To? Thanks for dropping by, mate. Hope you had a nice Easter. Edward's here. Evening, Alan. Hope you're well. Hope you had a nice Easter. I did. Thanks, Edward. I hope you did as well. Yeah. Hope you managed to get to watch some good movies over the Easter holiday. Jeff's saying, I used to collect DVDs, but mostly now I enjoy streaming, but I sometimes still buy DVDs. Yeah, I do. I must admit, I do stream the odd movie myself, but it's mostly buy DVDs and Blu-rays, you know. But if I see a movie, say for instance, like the Oliver Reed one last night, whilst I was browsing Prime, I thought to myself, I'll check that out because I'm a huge fan of Oliver Reed, and I'm currently nearing the end of his biography, you know. And when I saw it, I'd never heard of it before. I thought I'd give it a go. I forget the name of it, but it's on Amazon Prime. If you type in foreign movies of the 70s, it's in English, like, you know, but it's a foreign made movie. You must probably get the movie up on the screen. Yeah. So Richard Brown, music cassettes are in again too. Yeah, I believe they're making a comeback. The music cassettes. Going back to the 80s, I used to have a couple of those. Now that's what I call music. I think they're still going today, aren't they? Yeah. I remember a couple of songs on one, Nikita, Elton John, and what was the other one? Out Sailing Across the Sea to See My Uncle Sam by I think it was Madness. Yeah, I think I've still got them up there upstairs somewhere. Yeah, but oh yeah, I used to love my cassettes. Yeah. Ian Flower and Ends, evening. I hope this isn't a troll. Evening, Alan. Nice haircut, though. I see you've got tufts of hair at the back of your neck. Is this a new ponytail style? No, it's not a new ponytail style. No. And if we could just kindly keep the comments confined to collecting physical media and no personal, remarks, that would be great. Thank you very much. Yes, I think this is a troll. Moderators, where are you when I need you? Sorry about this, guys. You always get one, don't you? Spoiling the party. Horror Bruce is saying, hi, Alan. You okay, mate? Glad you are doing well. I am a physical media collector. I have 3,334 movies and around 400 TV box sets. I mostly stick to Blu-ray, but I don't mind buying DVDs either. Talking of box sets, I spotted a fantastic box set last night on the internet. Lovely set. Anybody remember The Bionic Woman starring Lindsay Wagner? Oh yeah, Scream Factory. Oh, they produce a beautiful box set. It's quite expensive, but it's got every episode. The Adventures of Jamie Summers, The Bionic Woman. Lovely packaging, lovely box sets, and all packed with special features. Very, very tempting. It's very, very tempting. So what I might get it actually, but I'll wait till it goes down in price. And not only that, they've also done a Blu-ray of Steve Austin. The sister show, the $6 Million Man, which was a couple of crossover stories with those two characters. Well, guys, if you're old enough to remember, the 70s and that, you'll know that they've done some crossover stories with Steve Austin and Jamie Summers. But Lindsay Wagner was a big crush of mine in the 1970s, yeah, and I wasn't the only one. Actually, my dad had a huge crush on Lindsay Wagner. She's as well as The Bionic Woman. She's made some great movies as well, hasn't she? Yeah, and she comes to the Comic Cons as well. She was at a couple of years ago. She was at I think it was about 3 years ago. She was at the big Comic Con in Liverpool. Yeah, but unfortunately I didn't go to that one, so I didn't get to see her. But love Lindsay Wagner, and lovely Blu-ray box set. By Scream Factory, The Bionic Woman. And I believe, not Scream Factory, but Kino Lorber, they're going to do 2 Columbo Blu-ray box sets. They're going to do all the series of Columbo. And then they're going to do, all the TV movies he made when he came back in the late 80s and early 90s. They're going to be in Blu-ray, and they're going to be packed with special features. So, looking forward to getting them as well. Yeah, because I've got the DVDs of Columbo. But as I say, once the Blu-rays come out, I'll probably upgrade. Yeah, just see how much they are, Kevin William Wardle, we are in a good era for physical media. Yeah, some great titles coming out. Yeah, definitely. As I said before, I don't think it'll ever go away completely, guys. you know, physical media. You know, it's definitely here to stay. But as I say, I can't help experiencing that very slight pang of concern when I go into a store and see they've reduced the stock of Blu-rays and DVDs. Are always, you know, just can't help feeling like apprehensive about it. Well, most probably you guys do as well when you go into a store and that you see, oh God, have they shrunk the movies? Yeah. So, but as I say, yeah, I don't think you know, it'll ever go away. Let's hope not anyway. Jeff's saying, Alan, is Horror Hospital on Blu-ray? It is on Blu-ray, yeah. I had that a couple of years ago, Jeff, Horror Hospital. That's the one with Michael Gough, isn't it? Yeah, I had that on Blu-ray, yeah, a couple of years ago. Yeah, it's still available. Brian's saying to Jeff Joffy, it's on Blu-ray. I bought it a few months ago. It's really good. Yeah, it's not a bad movie, that Horror Hospital. Jeff's saying to Brian, yeah, cheers. I don't like the alternate title, Computer Killers. Oh, I didn't know that was its alternate title, Computer Killers. Pete's here, Playtendo guy. You okay, Pete? Thanks for dropping by. Evening, Alan. Hope you are keeping well. I'm not too bad, thanks, Pete. Hope you are too. Yeah. Thanks for stopping by, mate. It's always nice to chat to you. Kevin's saying, I got some great Blu-rays for my birthday. Carl off of Columbia is one I got, and it's worth getting. I've got the first Boris Karloff one at Columbia, but I did buy the second one, and I wasn't too keen on it, so I let it go. Yeah, the movies weren't really much cop, but I loved the first one, you know. But as I say, the second one, I didn't like the movies, and I thought he was wasted in them, you know. Brian's saying to Jeff, you're welcome. I didn't know it had an alternate title. No, as I say, neither did I. Jeff's saying, yes, Brian Gilson, I think the Americans gave the film the Computer Killers title. There's an old US trailer on YouTube and they used Computer Killers, right? Chestnut 7 is saying, good evening, Alan and everyone. You okay? Thanks for stopping by. Always nice to talk to you. Hope you've had, had a nice Easter. Brian's saying, don't worry, Alan, I got rid of him. Oh, thanks very much, Brian. Cheers. The messages still show on your chat, but they are deleted on the other chat. Oh, thanks very much, Brian, mate. I appreciate that. Yeah, they're bloody nuisances, those trolls. They really are. I hate to see them on other people's live streams as well. You know, they're just sad people in my opinion. Richard's saying, nice one, Brian. I'd certainly echo that. Jeff too, echoing. Good work, Brian. Yeah, definitely. Brian, thanks, Jeff. Yeah. Tony's saying, I prefer DVDs as they are cheap. Yeah, definitely. And I can watch them on portable players and players around the house. Well, I've noticed, too, the DVDs, what they're sort of like churning out now, the picture quality is almost parallel to the quality of the Blu-rays, you know, because I've had a couple of DVDs, and I said to my mum, you'd think that was Blu-ray, wouldn't you? Yeah, and she said, yeah, you know, because like the picture quality is just as good as the as the Blu-ray. Yeah. I tell you what, I am looking forward to watching, guys, on it when this is on 4K. I got the new 4K of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you know, the original from 1974. Now, I did want that gorgeous box set, but it sold out. Yeah, and also I think for £45, I think it was a little bit of a rip-off, because you just get a couple of art cards, you get a poster, and the book. I think the book's the main selling points with that, because I did want that book, you know, that big thick that book that accompanies the disc. But I've got the standard edition anyway, so I'm quite happy with that. So I look forward to watching that at the weekend, and I might actually do a review of it once I've watched it on Sunday afternoon. Yeah. So stay tuned for that. Right, Walk On Always Believe is saying, Alan, I hope you are well. I'm not too bad, thanks. Hope you are too. My internet finally started working properly again. Oh, that's good. Yesterday, I'm looking forward to this video, and I hope everyone is behaving. Yeah, well, apart from the pestiferous troll that sneak through the gap before everything's hunky-dory up to now. The fingers crossed it stays that way. Brian's saying to Jeff, the American title doesn't sound good. Horror Hospital is a lot better title. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. As I say, I didn't know that I had another title. Horror Hospital. It's years since I watched it. I mean, I don't remember too much about it, to be honest, but I do remember Michael Goff is in it, isn't he? Yeah. Didn't William Shatner do one set in a hospital called, I don't know if any of you guys have seen it, Visiting Hours. Yeah, I think I vaguely remember watching that on our television. Yeah, I'm sure William Shatner played the lead role in that, Visiting Hours, yeah. Jeff's saying to Brian, I agree, yeah. Brian, thanks, Richard. Yeah. KN, hi from Ireland. Oh, hi, yeah. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah. Top of the morning to you. My Irish accent is terrible. Just as bad as my impressions. Thanks for coming along. Yeah. Everybody's welcome in these streams. Jeff's saying, Alan, what's the most expensive Blu-ray you've ever bought? Now you're asking, Jeff. I'm just trying to think now. The most expensive Blu-ray I've ever bought. I can't think of I bought a lot of expensive Blu-rays, paid out £32, £35. Suspiria was quite expensive. That was the one that's got the best picture quality. That was just over 40 quid. I bought that last year, but a lot of the box sets what I bought have been quite expensive. The likes of the Abbott and Costello, the complete movie collection, and Blu-ray box sets like, I don't know, The Outer Limits, Twilight Zone. Some of them, I must admit, have been very, very disappointing. So I'll put them on eBay. There's one box set, Jeff, I'm very, very disappointed, and I got it for Christmas. The Ju-On, The Grudge, the foreign ghost movies, the Ju-On collection. Very, very disappointed with that, so I put that on eBay. Very, very boring movies. The Japanese Grudge, yeah. So, and I'm not even bothering watching the special features, the stories are really akin to watching paint dry, Jeff, to be honest with you. So, the Arrow box sets, Ju-On, the Grudge collection, yeah. So, yeah, very, 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 very disappointed with that. So, just keep my fingers crossed I get a buy for it. Tell you what was an expensive Blu-ray, Jeff, bought about 2 years ago, and it was very, very hard to guess at that particular time. Mausoleum, the one with Bobby Bresci in. I think it was made in 1983, which he gets possessed by a demon. That was quite expensive, yeah. That was one of my expensive buys, Mausoleum. Fantastic movie, if you haven't seen it, yeah. I first rented that out. I remember that was one of the first movies I rented out when I got my video player in January 1986. Mausoleum was one of the very first films I rented out from my local, local video shop. Always remember, coming in, like got my first. I've said this before. Got my first VHS player, and I got my membership card and that, and going down to the video rental stores and seeing all the covers and that. The aesthetics of the covers just hitting your eye as you're going to the shop and that. Oh, fantastic memories, yeah. Then, of course, graduated onto DVD, Blu-ray, and now 4K, yeah. So, I've got great memories of going to the video libraries. I think I was in every single one in our area because they all had their own different movies, guys. One Blockbuster had different movies, of course, along with the new, the latest ones. They had like rare ones. But yeah, I was in them all. Yeah, I just wanted the maximum amount to choose from, if you get me drift, So, those were the days, yeah. But I didn't like that bloody dropout though. That used to be in the in the actual videotape. When you watched it, you got all these white specks, and I wondered what the hell he were. And then I read in one of the video magazines. I used to get all the video magazines as well. Video Now, Video World. I had a big collection of them. I always got them. Yeah, they usually had like a glamour girl on the cover, and it had like little photographs of the movies, the cases, and it had like little like sort of like synopsises of each movie. Yeah, a great fan of those video magazines. But yeah, it was an experience, like going into the video shops and that, but I hated the dropouts and that. you know, but I found out what it was. I say I read it in the magazine. It was Drophouse, yeah, which signified that the movie had been rented out over 1,000 times, you know. So I had many a good movie, guys, that was ruined by those white specks that awful Drophouse, yeah. But it's great when DVD came around and the picture was smooth and that, you know, and you could freeze frame it as well. Fantastic. Gina's saying, it's my birthday tomorrow. Anyone have any recommendations of DVDs or Blu-rays to buy with my birthday money? Ah, right. Happy birthday anyway, Gina, for tomorrow. There's not at the moment. I'm just trying to think. I'm gonna try that Megan House, you know, with the doll. I've heard good things about it and I've heard bad things about it, but I don't think you can get it in the UK at the moment. So that might be worth putting on your list, Megan. But obviously you'll have a little bit of a wait for it. I just watched me Blu-ray of Dr. Terror's House of Horrors, you know, the one with Peter Cushing comes on the train with the cards and that. Oh, it's a fantastic release I've got there. Fantastic, yeah. And a great documentary as well, you know, with Jonathan Rigby and, you know, different other experts of the horror genre talking all about the movie. Very, very detailed as well. So I highly recommend it, you know. Fantastic Blu-ray. But yeah, and there's not really, at the moment, at the top of my head, I can't really think of any I could recommend, you know. But that one's good with Barbara Stanwyck, The Night Walker. That's a good one. Kevin's saying, I also got craze after seeing your YouTube review. Good movie that, with Jack Palance and Susie Kendall. And I also got Blood of the Vampire on Blu-ray as an upgrade. I haven't got that one, Kevin, Blood of the Vampire. I'll have to get that one. The last time I saw it in HMV, it was bloody $17.99. I thought that's a bit steep, that, like, you know, but an old film, yeah. But once it goes down a bit in price, definitely on my radar. So once it goes down in price, I'll most probably pick that up. I'll tell you what, one movie I was disappointed with, guys, Blu-ray. You know, the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde from the Frederick March. Yeah, I didn't like it. I got it for Christmas and that, and I watched it the other night, and it was all a lot of talk in it. You know, even though Hyde's makeup was good, he looked like it's sort of like this ferocious ape man. The story was more of a love story, guys. Yeah, so I'll let it go. You know. I like the Spencer Tracy. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and I like the Christopher Lee one, the I Monster. But have you guys got a favourite Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde movie? Let me know. I'd be very interested, you know, to discuss. But yeah, I didn't like that Frederick March one at all. Richard's saying, Gina, I recommend Underwater with Kristen Stewart. Oh, I don't know. I don't know too much about that one. Underwater. Stephen Davis. Hi, Alan. You okay, Steve? Thanks for dropping by, mate. Nice to see you. Nice. What is the layout now in the Liverpool HMV? Are they still stocking all three formats? There used to be a sections for Arrow, 88 films, and Indicator. Well, what they've done, Stephen, they've moved them all the physical media. They've moved them up. Whereas before they've done the refurbishment, they were all at the back of the shop. What they've done, they've moved them up forward a bit more nearer, you know, a bit more nearer to the tills, you know, to the counters. And but it looks to me as if they've reduced it, you know. They still got the they've got all the Arrows together, all the 88 films together. They're all categorized as they were prior to the refurbishments. But yeah, it looks to me as if they have downsized there a little bit, you know, with the that's what I was saying before, you know, at the start of the stream. You know, it's very worrying, you know, these stores like downsizing their physical media. But yeah, they still got a good selection, mind, you know. But yeah, it looks to me as if they've sort of like squoze everything together, you know. So there you go. I believe some other HMVs are doing it as well. When I hear now about an HMV doing a refurbishment, I start thinking the worst. I don't know about you guys, you know. Does that refurbishment mean less physical media for us collectors? Horror Bruce is saying, your last live stream around Vincent Price inspired me to bulk up my VP collection. Very good. So picked up the Arrow releases of The Raven, The Haunted Palace, The Pit and the Pendulum from CX, only £6 each. That was a good bargain, Bruce, wasn't it? Yeah, yeah. I love The Haunted Palace. I love The Pit and the Pendulum, but I'm not a great fan of The Raven. That's where the magicians, isn't it? Boris Karloff and that, they're trying to sort of like outdo each other, you know, with the spells and that. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that one. But you got, you know, you got a good bargain there, you know, getting all those movies. Yeah, well done. Kevin's saying, I showed the Texas Chainsaw Massacre on Super 8mm film at our school summer fair in 1979. It went down very well. I can imagine it went down very well. Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's a great movie. That's in my top 5. My all-time favorite horror movies, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Fantastic performances all around, you know. And Leatherface is one of the most iconic, terrifying characters I've ever seen in a horror movie. But I did not like that sequel. Oh, I hated that sequel, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. I did not like. It was more of a spoof, guys. You know, parody. You know, oh yeah, they destroyed the Sawyer family with that. They should have made a straightforward horror sequel. You know, the potential was there. They could have done so much more with those characters. You know, but instead they went down the Freddy Krueger comedic path, didn't they? You know, but yeah, I'm very, very disappointed. To be honest, like all the other Texas Chainsaw Massacres that followed the first one, it haven't impressed me, guys. But I did like the remakes. They were very good. I thought they were even more brutal. I did like them. Yeah, they were very well done. Yeah, but I don't think it can beat the original, guys, you know, for top quality horror. Granted, there's not much blood in it, really, but boy, does it pack a powerful punch in terms of scaring the bejesus out of you, you know, especially seeing it for the very first time, you know. Oh, yeah, absolute classic. And I can't wait to watch it on 4K. Gina's saying, thanks, Richard. I don't know that one. I'll look out for it, right? That's another thing, guys, while we're on the theme of, you know, collecting physical media. Do you guys, how many of you guys here are fans of slipcovers? I definitely am. I love slipcovers, you know, but I know that there's people that couldn't care less about them as long as they got the film and that. But I love my slipcovers, you know. I think it has that. I think it's that little bit of icing on the cake. If you get like a good film, a nice film with a nice slipcover, you know, and I always make it my business if I can to try and get the movie with the slipcover, you know. So, oh yeah, I love my slipcovers, yeah, especially those Vinegar Syndrome ones and Scream Factory and Arrow. Yeah, got some great special Arrow editions with the slipcovers, yeah. But oh yeah, I'm a huge fan of slipcovers. Can't understand some of these people that throw them away. I just don't get it. Walk On Always Believe is saying, as soon as I see a fly, I'll get my fly spray out block button. Yeah, that's the way to do it, isn't it? Exterminate, yeah. Bloody nuisances they are. Yeah. Richard's saying, Alan, have you watched Mardi Gras Massacre? Yeah, didn't like it, Richard. Nah, didn't like. Wasn't my cup of tea. Yeah, if you watched it, yeah, saw it years ago on video. Very disappointing. Yeah, I didn't like it. It was awful. Yeah, it was slow. The story was crap. The characters were very, very cardboard cutouty. Yeah, I didn't like it. No, so I flogged it on eBay. Brian Gilson, do you remember the Betamax? I do. Yeah, the Betamax versus VHS battle. I always thought Beta had the better picture. A lot of people said that because I remember at the time. In the early to mid 80s, I was agonising over these two formats. Should I get Betamax? Should I get VHS? Should I get Betamax? Should I get VHS? And what I was doing, I was perusing like mad all the video review magazines what I spoke about before, which I bought every month. I was perusing them, and in the end, I made up my mind it had to be VHS. Yeah, there was more titles. Well, I said at the time there was more titles on VHS, you know, and it was a better format. So I did. In the end, I went with the VHS, and I'm very glad I did. Yeah, I didn't have I had quite a substantial collection of VHS tapes before I started buying the DVDs. Gothic Rose 82 Visiting Hours is a great slasher. Michael Ironside as the crazy killer. definitely worth a watch. Yeah, I'll have to check that out again. Visit Nowers, yeah. Tony Crosby, has anyone had a problem with the thin DVD covers? And I have a few, and they are just disintegrating. Had to change them. Oh, that's not right, is it? Yeah, it's it's awful that when it's sort of like packaging them, you know, low quality like that. Yeah, awful that like. Walk on, always believe is saying, I had a great day at the charity shop today. I assumed someone was a collector because I found great conditions and they were all region 1, 3 and 4. I spent £22.50 on 40-ish DVDs, including horror and thrillers. Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah. I always like to hear of my fellow YouTubers getting a Grace Hall when they go Blu-ray and DVD shopping. Fantastic. Yeah. Yeah. I made up myself when I go into not necessarily just CX, but any kind of store really. You know, if I go out for the day and I go into a charity shop or whatever, and it's loads and loads of DVDs and Blu-rays, you know, going off cheap. Yeah. So yeah, I made up for you there. Yeah. Yeah. Good haul there. So what are your thoughts on collecting 4Ks, guys? Have you got many 4Ks in your collection? What's the 4K? What you go to again and again and again? And also, what's your thoughts on the picture quality? You know, when compared to the Blu-ray, do you think that there's not all that much difference, or do you think there's no difference at all? Or do you think in some cases there's a huge difference? Well, according to all what I've assimilated about the 4K narrative, there are some movies that look absolutely stunning. But on the other side of the coin, there are some movies that look absolutely dreadful, and I mean dreadful. Yeah. Oh yeah, as I say, I've had a couple of 4Ks myself, and there hasn't really been all that much difference. But as I say, on the other hand, I've had ones that the picture quality is absolutely stunning. You know, I suppose it all depends on the original master source as well, doesn't it? You know, for instance, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you're not going to get that looking like a 2023 Marvel picture, I would, you know, brilliant color, you know, because it was shot years ago on an old, I think it was 8 millimeter. But I believe this 4K is the best it can possibly look. And according to what some YouTubers have said, there's no need to get any more editions of it, even if they bought them out. There's no way they can improve on this 4K. So I'm very glad to hear that. And as I say, I'll be watching that over the weekend, and I'll give you my thoughts in a video, something, if not Sunday, maybe Monday. Stephen Davis, have you seen the initiation of Sarah? Yeah. It's an Arrow release about witches. Yeah, I can't remember too much about that. Is that the one with Vera Miles in? Yeah, can't remember all that much about that one, so I mustn't have really liked it very much. Kevin's saying Video World was Alan Bryce, wasn't it? I think it was, yeah. The editor of The Dark Side, yeah. I think you're right. Yeah, I think he did edit that Video World, and he went on to do The Dark Side. He's doing another magazine as well, doing a fantastic job with his magazines, Alan. Yeah, fantastic. Jeff saying visiting hours with William Shatner. I thought he was in that. Not seen that. A psychotic murderer searches for his next victim. A TV news girl who survived an early attack in a big hospital. I'll look out for that. Yeah, I'll have to really get that myself. Visiting hours, yeah, definitely. KN is saying, hey, Alan, just regarding your review of Revenge, that might be a cool subgenre to investigate. 70s borderline horror thriller 70s borderline horror thriller films. Yeah, good idea. I might just do that. Yeah, I might adopt that as a topic for an upcoming live stream. Yeah, cheers, mate. Yeah, always open to fresh ideas like that. For future live streams and the like. Brian Gilson to Gina. Happy birthday for tomorrow. I'd certainly echo that. Yeah. Yeah, don't get too drunk, Gina, if you drink. Right, so Larry Fleetwood saying, especially a good Blu-ray player upscaling DVD to near high definition look gives a reason to stick with DVDs rather than Blu-rays. That may have been messed with in the color department, by daft revisionists. I know a lot of sometimes when they do try to improve the picture quality, you get a lot of graying in, don't you? In a lot of these 4Ks, which sort of like detracts from the enjoyability factor of the picture quality. Yeah, so you suppose you've got to watch out for that, the graying and that. Yeah. Walk on always believes saying, I love DVDs. Ditto. They're very underappreciated. I prefer Blu-rays, but Blu-rays take a little longer to load. I'm not the biggest 4K fan, but I have a few. Yeah, I've got a couple of 4Ks myself. I haven't got hundreds and hundreds. I've only got my favorite movies, you know, the likes of Psycho, Suspiria, The Birds, movies like that, you know. But yeah, and I've just added the Texas Chainsaw Massacre to my 4K collection. Uncle Frank, hi from Frankfurt. As a special feature, what kind of special feature would you want to become a standard for physical media? I'd love it if every Blu-ray came with a physical booklet. Yeah, I'm a big fan of the booklets myself. Yeah. Oh yeah, I love reading about movies. I love assimilating all the ins and outs about a movie, and I love the anecdotes and that. I love the interviews. I love the analysis by such top names in the genre as Jonathan Rigby, Kim Newman. I love all that. You know, and as I said before about this Blu-ray of Dr. Terror's House of Horrors, fantastic documentary, really breaking down the movie, and I learned quite a few things in the documentary what I never knew about, you know. So I've got the rest of that to watch later on, and I've got also there's an interview with some of the cast. Kenny Lynch was in that. He was in the Voodoo one. If you've seen it, you know the one I mean, with Roy Castle, where he steals the music of the Voodoo chieftains and that, you know, and he brings it back and copies, and all hell breaks loose. Some cracking stories in that Dr. Terror's House of Horrors. But there is one story in it, guys, the one with Alan Freeman in, where the plants, it's like a Day of the Trippitt story, and the plant sort of like grows around his house and starts strangling people. I thought that was the weakest of all the stories in Dr. Terror's House of Horrors. Well, of course, if you've seen the movie, you'll know what I mean. Yeah, but that did spoil it just a teensy weensy bit for me. But other than that, it's a great Amicus anthology movie, and I believe Amicus's first venture into the genre of portmanteau. Gina Walpole, thanks, Brian. Jeff's saying, I watched Dr. Terror's House of Horrors at the weekend. Yes, a great film. Yeah, definitely. Fantastic cast. It gets criticism, which I cannot understand. Criticism? What have they got to criticize? It's a fantastic movie. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Some people are never satisfied, are they? You know, it's like the way another horror movie I just thought of, Jeff, off the top of my head, The Scars of Dracula. That's had a lot of criticism over the years for having the bats, you know, the rubber bats and that, you know. And but I love The Scars of Dracula. You know, you've got to take the rough with the smooth sometimes with these horror movies, haven't you? They can't be 100% perfect, you know. And if you get the odd rubber bat or two in the movie, the story's the main thing. You know, I can forgive a couple of corny rubber effects and that. But one thing I don't like, guys, in movies, is one of my pet hates is constant bloody flashbacks. Well, if you've been watching me reviews and that, you know how much I hate flashbacks. In a movie, I was watching one the other night, and you just get into the story, and it just goes off the line of your course into constant flashback after flashback after flashback, and it just jars you out of the story, guys. You know, oh, I hate flashbacks in movies. Yeah, absolute anathema to me. Yeah, can't stand them. I don't like the jarring scenes either, where it goes from one scene to another, which were in the beginning of the Elvis movie. You know, I think I've spoke about this before, actually, on a couple of occasions, about the Elvis biopic that was made recently. Yeah, I didn't like that. I didn't like the flashbacks, and I didn't like the jarring scenes. That was one mess of a movie, that. Gina's saying, thanks for the film suggestions, Alan. You're welcome, Gina. I always like to suggest their movies to me followers and that. You know, I get a big buzz out of it, you know, recommending them. And I also, it works the other way as well. I like to get recommendations from you guys about movies, what's worth checking out. But it's all part of the fun, isn't it? Of being a bit of YouTuber, you know, talking about movies on YouTube. But, oh, yeah, love recommending movies. So there's one On the Arrow, I'm a big fan of Arrow Video. I've just thought of one title. What it's definitely on me list. I don't think I've ever seen it. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it. It's called Lover's Lane, and it's a kind of a slasher movie, guys. So I think that's coming out in. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's coming out at the end of April. Lover's Lane. So I've got a nice slipcover as well. So I'll be checking that one out. Yeah. But oh yeah, I love Arrow. Yeah, they've done some fantastic titles over the years, and I love Network as well. You know, they've got a great range of movies as well. Network, you know, and of course Scream Factory. And I use the Film Treasures site a lot. You know, Film Treasures to get movies from America. You know, very, very fast delivery as well. So if you're not familiar with them, I'd highly recommend you check them out. Film Treasures, they're a fantastic company. Yeah, great customer service as well. Right, back to the comments. Kevin's saying Frankenstein, the True Story is out on Blu-ray in the UK now. I got the Blu-ray of that, Kev, a couple of months ago. Yeah, the American one. I love that movie. Yeah, it's great. I love the Arctic scenes as well, you know, and the confrontation and that, you know, between Victor and the monster. Oh, yeah, great, yeah. And, yeah, the ship going into the Arctic and that. And the way he starts off, the monster, he starts off as a handsome young man, doesn't he? Played by Michael Sarrazin. And he starts, you know, his flesh starts decaying. And Leonard Whiting, he's really on the money playing Victor Frankenstein in that movie, yeah. I always remember watching it the Christmas of 1975, and I had a blast with it. And I thought to myself, if that's ever released, you know, in any form, well, of course we didn't know what DVD and Blu-ray were then. If that is ever released in any form, a projector, which you always wanted in the 70s, as a projector home movie, I get that. But I'm very, very pleased to own it now on Blu-ray. I love that movie. James Mason's very good in it as well as Dr. Polidori, and who plays the girl who plays his wife. Nicola Padgett, she's very good, and Jane Seymour. Oh, it's a great one. That's one of the best. That's one of the best Frankenstein adaptations, in my opinion, that's ever been made. Frankenstein: The True Story. And if any of you guys haven't seen it, I highly recommend you check that out. You'll have a blast with it. David McCallum's in it as well. You know, played Ilya Kuryakin in The Man from U.N.C.L.E. Jeff saying, "Happy birthday, Gina. My granddad was born April 14th." Right. Gina's saying, thanks, Jeff. Jeff's responding. Walk On Always Believers saying, I love DVDs they're very underappreciated. I prefer Blu-rays, but Blu-rays say, oh, we've seen that one, haven't we? Sorry. Richard Brown, Craze is a bit of 70s sleaze. It's a good 70s sleaze, very enjoyable movie. Jack Palance, who is a real swine and that real badass he is, Jack Palance. Stephen Davis is saying the Antichrist is getting a release from Studio Canal. It's a great Exorcist ripoff. The Antichrist, I'm not sure I've seen that. Don't think I've seen that one, Steve. The Antichrist. Yeah, it sounds like an Exorcist ripoff. Richard's saying Antichrist by Lars von Trier is an excellent folk horror. Oh, I like my folk horror movies. I'll keep an eye out for that. Of course, my favourite folk horror movie is The Wicker Man. You know, fantastic movie. I believe that's coming out on 4K as well. Love The Wicker Man. Well, I've got a bit of good news for you guys. I hope to be doing couple of weeks time doing like a video showing all my collection off. I finally managed to get a bookcase, you know. So I'm just in the throes of sorting them all out at the moment. So once I've sorted them all out and put them onto the second shelf, I'll be able to do a video showing you my collection. So that's something to look forward to. I've always wanted to do it. I've had a lot of requests from me YouTubers to do it. You know, when are you going to do a video showing your horror collection off? Well, it's definitely in the offing. So watch this space, yeah. Right. Kevin is saying the original Texas Chainsaw was bizarre and genuinely scary. Yeah. Oh God, it was. Real creepy movie, yeah. Came out, didn't it, a year after The Exorcist, yeah. And fantastic, yeah. I love the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And as I say, Leatherface, Oh, he was one creepy character, he was. Walk On, Always Believe. The hammer scene always gets me in that as well. You know, Grandpa with the hammer and that. And oh, God, yeah. Terrifying, that. Walk On, Always Believe. I love DVDs. They're very underappreciated. Oh, this is a repetitious one. How's that coming up all the time? Sorry, I accidentally sent that message twice. Sorry, Alan. It's okay. I just wondering why I kept replicating and replicating. Kevin's saying, I love slipcovers too, especially the Kino ones. I'm right with you there, Kev. I love the Kino Lorber ones, yeah. I've got the Kino Lorber. I've got the Clint Eastwood, you know, the High Plains Drifter with the slipcover. And I've got a few dollars more and a fistful of dollars. But there's only one, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. That was the only one I couldn't get with the slipcover. I believe that's going for an astronomical price, is that now, isn't it? The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly with the slipcover. So, but you never know. I might see the slipcover one day online, and I'll snap it up. Stephen Davis is saying, all my TV shows are DVD: Dukes of Hazzard, T.J. Hooker, The Good Life, LOLO, Heart to Heart, Bionic Woman, Columbo, etc. Yeah, I've got quite a few TV shows on DVD myself. Yeah, some good ones come out over the years on DVD. That Bionic Woman set, though, God, it's an absolute beauty. It really is. You know, if you love Lindsay Wagner, you will be in for a treat seeing it in glorious high definition. Lovely looking woman, and a very, very fine actress as well. And as I say, not just in taking the Bionic Woman off, but she's been in a lot of fantastic thriller movies. I always remember one where she was an air stewardess. I don't know if you remember it, guys. If you can think of the time, she was an air stewardess, and she was very good in it. Yeah, she was trying to calm this terrorist down, and I was threatening to blow the plane up. And you could tell, she put everything into that role, playing the air stewardess. Yeah, I'll say I can't remember the exact title of the film, but she was very, very good in it. Lindsay Wagner, yeah, fine actress, one of the best. Walk On, Always Believe. I think you'll be happy because I found a copy of Fearless Vampire Killers. Oh, for 30p. Oh, well done. I love Fearless Vampire Killers. From 67 to 68. I've never seen it. It's a great one. Sharon Tate, Roman Polanski. Oh, it's great, Dad. I love that movie. I can watch that anytime. Yeah, I love the scene with the snow. The vampires going down the hill using makeshift coffins for sledges. Love it. Sharon Tate looks gorgeous in that, as she always did in all her movies and that. Roman Polanski's really on the money, playing the assistant to the dopey owl vampire killer. Oh yeah, you'll have a blast with that. Yeah, it's a great movie. Fantastic. One of the best Hammer spoofs I've ever seen in my life. Love it. Chestnut 7 is saying it was a toss-up. It was a toss-up for the Panasonic VHS or Sony C7 Betamax. For me, luckily, I got the Panasonic Betamax. I had very few films and didn't last long, right? Yeah. Yeah, as I say, I was always agonizing over whether to get VHS or Betamax. But as I say, in the end, I opted for, a VHS. They're quite expensive as well when they first came out, guys, weren't they? I remember in Birkenhead, I can't remember the shop, but I saw Alien VHS. It was about 50 quid. The original 1979 Alien to own. 50 quid. Oh, yeah. Really expensive. Horror Bruce, you think throwing away slipcovers is bad? My friend doesn't even keep the cases. You're joking. And puts his discs into media folders. It disturbs me big time. Oh, I couldn't do that. You know, I love the aesthetics of a movie. It's just like when I used to buy the LPs and that, in the 70s and 80s. I love the covers and that, especially the K-Tel covers and ABBA's LPs. And well, you'll know if you've been watching me channel, I'm a huge fan of ABBA. And I used to love their LPs when he brought out like Voulez-Vous. I think that's one of my favourites. ABBA LP covers, my favourite colour, blue. And Arrival, where they're in a helicopter. I love all that. And the Slade's cover, the very first album I ever bought, aside from the Top of the Pops LPs, the Sladest one. I love that cover as well. Like a dark bluey, purpley cover. But oh yeah, I love the aesthetics. As well as buying the movie, I love the aesthetics of the packaging. Yeah, and as I said before, I love it to be a booklet included in every single every single disc. But oh yeah, that's terrible. I couldn't agree with that. he doesn't even keep the cases. Well, like, oh no, I like to keep the cases. They look nice on your shelf, or the spine's all aligned, I think, you know. And some people on YouTube have got some awesome collections. You know, I love watching people showing their collections and that, and showing the shelves and that, and all the films and that. Oh yeah, I love all that. Right, sorry guys, I can't just skip the bit here. Kevin saying, I don't have or need 4K, to be honest. A lot of people don't bother with 4K. Yeah, because a lot say there's not all that much difference. Yeah. So to each his own, I suppose, isn't it? Stephen saying, we got our VHS player in 1981. First rentals were The Exterminator and Zombie Flesh Eaters. I've seen Zombie Flesh Eaters, but I don't think I've seen The Exterminator, to be honest. Walk On Always Believe is saying, I almost didn't go to the charity shop today because I went last week and nothing, but I said to myself, go on, you'll never know. And I'm lucky I went today because found great different region DVDs. I'm very pleased for you, mate. Yeah, you got a bargain there. Yeah, I as I say, I love doing that myself, going to a shop and seeing about 7 or 8 DVDs going cheap and that, snap them up right away, you know. So yeah, but really made up for you there. Brian's saying, I love collecting DVDs and Blu-rays. Me too. But I find 4K is a bit too expensive. I think they are expensive. Yeah. I think they should lower the 4Ks. Like, you know, it's not helping the advancements of physical media, is it? You know, bringing out such expensive. It's like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You know, you're paying for the bells and whistles. You know, they're having on the bells and whistles. I would have loved that set. I really would. You know, but as I say, it's so expensive. You know, yeah, they should lower the prices a bit. Like Graham Powell saying, I think I love 4K, but you have to do your homework before upgrading. Yeah, from Blu-ray. I find the older films look fantastic. Yeah. They just brought the Maltese Falcon out, haven't they, on 4K? Yeah, I believe that Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory looks absolutely stunning on 4K. I haven't got that one in my collection. It's been on the telly loads of times. But I have got The Wizard of Oz on 4K. I haven't watched it yet. So I believe that's very good as well. And the birds, Psycho, got Psycho on 4K. So I've got quite a few 4Ks there. I've got to you know, get round to watching. Chestnut 7 is saying, I got my video in 1981 too. Yeah, I got my first video recorder in January of 1986, and I've wanted one for years, you know. So when I got my job in Liverpool, you know, what did I do? The very first as soon as I finished work, I marched straight into Dixon's and said, I want that video. I want that video recorder. And once I'd done all the paperwork and that, he let me carry it out the shop. Oh, one of the most exciting nights of my life, guys. You know, especially for you know, somebody who loves movies as much as I do. Oh yeah, one of the highlights of the 80s for me. Get me very first you know, VHS video recorder. Kevin's saying, I think Eureka, Indicator and Arrow are leading the way in the UK at the moment. They certainly are. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Great companies, great titles, you know, fantastic. Yeah. Stephen's saying, some people really complain about dark 4Ks. I'm on the fence at the moment. Yeah, I believe there is a couple of 4Ks that are quite dark in comparison to the Blu-ray. I can't really think of any titles off the top of my head, but I have heard some YouTubers broaching the subject about how some 4Ks look darker, you know, than some of the Blu-rays. Chestnut 7 is saying, I collect horror movie books as well as DVDs. Me too. I've got quite a good collection of horror movie books. Yeah, I love Jonathan Rigby's Gothic trilogy movies. You know, he's done American Gothic, English Gothic, and Italian Gothic. I'd highly recommend them. Yeah, they're great books, them. And of course, I've got a couple of books on the Hammer Films, Hammer Studios. Yeah, Abbott and Costello. I've got a big book, all their movies and that. Oh yeah, I love me books. Yeah, a lot of film magazines as well. Richard Brown, BFI is a good British company too. They are, yeah. And as I say, that one, the Deep End, I liked it that much. So I bought the BFI. I bought the BFI Blu-ray of it. So it's got the special features on it as well, all about the making of the movie. So I highly recommend that. The Deep End. The Jane Asher looks absolutely stunning in it. Ooh. She went out with Paul McCartney for a while, didn't she? In the late '60s, Jane Asher. There's actually on that Blu-ray, guys, I've just mentioned. There's actually she appears in a short play. I think it's 25 minutes. Yeah, something about a working class mother. It goes through all sorts of problems and that. So I'm looking forward to watching that. Rock and Roll Hell. Grabbed anything from the Arrow sale? Not yet. No. I'll just see if anything takes me fancy, and if I do like something, I'll snap it up. Yeah. Richard Brown is saying Kim Newman is a good horror fiction writer too. Yeah, he wrote the Dracula, didn't he? I know Dracula series of books. Yeah. Oh yeah, I love his reviews. Yeah, I've got his book as well. The Kim Newman. He does loads of reviews. He's done the Kim Newman movie review book. I think it's called. Yeah, quite a chunky tome. Yeah. Oh yeah, I love Kim Newman. Yeah, he's great. He knows his stuff when it comes to horror movies. Tony Crosby says, I have the complete 80s Twilight Zone series on DVD, and the picture quality is dreadful. I had that. The picture quality is dreadful. I got rid of it. I prefer the original one, from the late 50s, early 60s, hosted by Rod Serling. Yeah, I got that on Blu-ray. But yeah, I can see where you're coming from there. So yeah, that 80s Twilight Zone. Yeah, and it wasn't as good either. I didn't think the stories were as good as the original. Yeah, picture quality was abysmal. You're spot on there. And also another series too, The Dark Side. I had that, and again the picture quality was awful. It really was bad. Excuse me. It really was bad. It looked as if it had been copied off an old bloody VHS tape. It was that bad, so I got rid of that. I hope some company takes up that, gets permission to sort of like bring some of these TV series out on Blu-ray, just like they've done with The Bionic Woman and Steve Austin, The $6 Million Man, and the Hulk as well, The Incredible Hulk, Bill Bixby. That's had a Blu-ray release as well. And Charlie's Angels, yeah. So if you like your 70s, if you like your 70s cop shows and that, you Marvel, you'll be made up with them, yeah. Chestnut 7. Dr. Terrors was on with Plague of the Zombies the other night. All right. Both great movies. Yeah. Top quality horror there. Richard Brown. Alan, you should do a stream about underrated horror films. Might just do that, Richard. Yeah. That's another topic. Yeah. That's very much in the forefront of my mind. Yeah. So watch this space. You never know. Walk On Always Believe is saying, is your birthday March the 1st? Yeah, St. David's Day. If so, that's the same as mine. We're twins. Twin. I didn't know I had a twin. Yeah, St. David's Day. Yeah, the 1st of March. I hate them coming round. They seem to become, the older you get, I don't want to get too depressing, guys, but the older you get, the quicker they seem to come around. I'm starting to hate them now, to be honest, but what can you do? Always compensate, but get myself loads of DVDs and Blu-rays just as I do at Christmas time. So sort of like alleviate the anxiety of becoming a doddery old man. Doddery I am not, as the late great Bruce Forsyth used to say. Jeff Joffe, I love the scars of Dracula. Me too. I thought Dennis Waterman was great. He was, yeah. And Jenny Hanley, although I didn't like the idea of them dubbing her voice. Hammer did do that a lot, Jeff. I don't know if you know that, but they did dub. On quite a few occasions, he dubbed the actors' voices, which, I didn't like that at all. I don't know why they done that. Really don't. They did it with the priest as well, and the priest with the bald head. It was Ewan Hooper. He was in Hunter's Walk, that cop series that was out in the 70s. They dubbed his voice as well. The priest who Dracula hypnotizes and he becomes a follower. He's a servant. They dubbed his voice as well. Stephen's asking me, what do you think of Radiance films? I'm not too sure. I'm not familiar with them, Steve. I haven't heard a lot of their films. Yeah, I'm not too familiar with them, Raidens films, so I can't comment on them, unfortunately. Uncle Frank, I illustrated the cover to Lover's Lane. Oh, that's awesome. Fantastic. Jealous if you got a copy already, or can't wait to get that Lover's Lane. Yeah, definitely. I'll definitely be checking that out. I haven't seen that one, Lover's Lane. Jeff Joffe, haha, Brian Gill said, I love the werewolf story too, and Dr. Terrace House of Horrors. Yeah, I do. But I never fully understood why the lady was a werewolf. I know, yeah. Yeah. The Alan Freeman one, as I said before, Jeff, that spoils it for me a bit. That was the weakest, although I love the movie, that was the weakest story, in my opinion. The Alan Freeman one, you know, with the plants, the murderous plants. Yeah. Christopher Lee one was great in that, you know, the hand and that. Yeah, he plays this stuffy art critic, doesn't he? And poor Michael Gough, his hand and that, he knocks him over. Yeah, and he severs his hand and that. Oh yeah, that's a good one. It's one of the best ones, that. Brian Gilson to Jeff Joffe, I know what you mean. Maybe she's a Descendants. Huh. Richard Brown, my brother got a projector for Christmas one year with the films Alien, Prophecy and French Connection too. Yeah, they're very popular, the projectors, weren't they? Although they were expensive, weren't they? Yeah, I never ever had one, but I always wanted one. But of course, once I saw the revolution that was the VHS and the Betamax, these machines that seem to come from nowhere, and you could get your own movies and that, record off the telly. Oh, I was sent. I really was. Yeah. Kevin, Cool Richard. Yeah. Sorry, guys. The comments are just jumping a bit. Jeff saying to Brian, something was in the coffin with a clawed hand, but the lady wasn't there. Then the dog werewolf appeared, and then the lady appeared as a turning werewolf. Yeah, it's a bit puzzling, that one, isn't it? Gina's saying, The Wicker Man is my all-time favourite film. Yeah, I love The Wicker Man. My all-time favourite horror movie, as I said before. I watch it every May Day, yeah. But and the most appropriate time to watch it as well, isn't it? May Day, yeah. Kevin said, I'd love to see a collection, Alan. Well, it's coming up very soon, Kev. Once I've got this new shelf sorted out and I've got everything aligned and that, I'll film the video. You can see exactly what I've got in my collection. Right, just bear with me, guys. Just getting the comments. Yeah, right. Walk on, always believe is saying, there's a horror I highly recommend, Alan. Exorcismus 2.0. I gave it a 9 out of 10. It's like The Exorcist with a sprinkle of Evil Dead. Absolutely loved it. Oh, let's watch out for that one. Exorcismus 2.0. Yeah, I haven't seen that one. Thanks for referring that to me. Yeah, I'll check that one out. Richard Brown. Thanks, Kevin. Lee Richards, my pet hate is found footage. I don't like found footage. I absolutely hate found footage. In the last decade, lots of new horror films use found footage. I know, yeah, and a bloody nuisance they are as well. They don't even put on the label, this is a found footage movie. Does me head in. I won't watch or buy any of them. I've been bit a few times, guys, with those bloody found footage. I bought a DVD from Asda, but I should have really checked the trailer out first. I just went to Asda on a Monday when you get all the DVDs and, oh, that looks good, I'll have that. And when you put it in your player, it's a bloody found footage. Oh, yeah. I hate those bloody found footage movies. I really hate them. There's only one really I like, sort of like, and that's that one, Creep. Not the one where she's in the railway station, but the one where the guy, I think he's dying of brain cancer, and he invites this photographer guy around to his house to film him, make a film for his son, to lead to his son and that. And he starts acting strange and that, you can see he's a bit of a weirdo. He puts a mask on, and a werewolf mask on and that, and he starts acting very strange and that. But what bugged me about that movie, guys, he was acting strange, and he stayed overnight. The fella, the photographer, he stayed overnight in his house, and he didn't get the weird vibes to get out the bloody house. And, I know if I went to do some work, photograph somebody, and he started acting weird and jumping out at me out the bushes and that, and putting the bloody werewolf mask on, trying trying to scare me witless, I'd be up. I'd grab me bloody photography equipment. I'd get out the bloody house as fast as my legs would carry me. You know, or if you're seeing the movie Creep, you know what I mean. But that's about the only found footage movie I really enjoyed. I don't like the Blair Witch Project. I never liked the Blair Witch Project. I thought it was a load of one of the most overrated horror films I've ever seen in my whole life, the Blair Witch. Although the story was interesting, the concept was interesting, I didn't like the found footage aspect. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of found footage. I tell you what, I did enjoy, guys, the other night. You know, the found footage movie Cloverfield. I watched 10 Cloverfield Lane. That's not a found footage. It's a kind of a spin-off from Cloverfield. It's about, well, if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm on about this guy, like this girl, she crashes a car and he takes her into his house and he chains her up in the basements and that, and he's trying to convey the impression that there's some sort of nuclear disaster, you know, hit the earth and that, and he can't venture out and that, but he's got like an ulterior motive. He's very, very sinister, and at the end it goes in a different direction. It's like two movies in one. 10 Cloverfield Lane. I really enjoyed it, yeah. So I won't give away too much if you haven't seen it, but I highly recommend you check that out. I enjoyed it. 10 Cloverfield Lane, great movie. And the main character, oh God, he's really terrifying. You know, the guy who kidnaps the girl and chains her up in his basement. Yeah, it's a great movie. Brian saying to Jeff, maybe she got turned after opening the coffin. Yeah, it's a possibility. The story in Dr. Terror's House of Horrors, the werewolf one, you mean, don't you? Tony's saying, I hate found footage horrors. Yeah, me too. I find they are boring and the acting is awful. What always gets me, guys, about those, I don't know about what you lot think, those found footage, you know, there's something happening, unfolding, you know, like a ghost is throwing things, or there's a killer, you know, running around with a knife, and the bloody still holding the camera, you know, and it's jerking all over the place and that. Wouldn't you think they'd throw the bloody camera away and run for their lives and that? Why are they still holding the camera? And you know, as if you would, you know what I mean? Oh, ridiculous. Jeff's saying to Brian, like I said, I've seen that story many times, but it still confuses me. It's like the second story in Tales That Witness Madness. I don't know what point that was making either, right? I like Tales That Witness Madness. I like I particularly like the Uncle Albert story where he buys all those artifacts from the Victorian era, and the photograph of Uncle Albert to change his expression. Susie Kendall's in that one. One of me 70s crushes and that. I love that one. Tales That Witness Madness. Yeah, I like the tiger story as well. That's pretty good. Yeah, great one that. Lee Richards is saying the UK Blu-ray of Frankenstein True Story has got a load of great extras and a lovely poster with it. I got it on Amazon this week. I love Frankenstein A True Story. Yeah, the one I bought last year's got a load of extras on it, so I most probably ported them over for the UK, you know, the UK Blu-ray release. But yeah, I love Frankenstein A True Story. Richard Brown saying Cloverfield is a good found footage film. Yeah, and I say I'm not a great fan of found footage, but I say I did enjoy 10 Cloverfield Lane. Am I dead? Yes. Hi, hey Alan, you okay? Thanks for dropping by. Nice to see you. Jean is saying Fearless Vampire Killers is in my top 10 of favourite films. I love Fearless Vampire Killers. Yeah, it's one of my all-time favourites. Horror spoofs that, and Sharon Tate and Roman Polanski were both really on the money in those roles. You know, fantastic. Yeah. And he's quite scary, and all the guy who played the vampire, you know, the Dracula type character. I think he's a German actor called Ferdy Main. He was very good in that. Yeah, the part where he's chasing the couple through the castle, isn't even all his vampire horde and that, and they're trapped on the roof of the castle, aren't they? And I can't remember the exact word he says, but he says something like, unless you can. The sort of like he's sitting at like the futility basically of the predicaments and the futility of the chances of escape being on the roof of the castle, and he says something along the lines of, "Oh, unless you can fly like a bat," and he goes like that with his hands somehow. Yeah, always cracks me up, that scene. Yeah, yeah. Another Sharon Tate movie, get horror movie, guys, I can recommend to you is Eye of the Devil, made in, I think it was 1965 with David Niven. I've spoke about it quite a lot on my channel. It's a kind of a black magic story. Deborah Carr's in it as well. It's in black and white, like, but oh yeah, it's a great one, that Eye of the Devil. David Emmings is good in it as well. You know, he plays the sinister brother of Sharon Tate. He got this bow and arrow, and he's always shooting this bow and arrow. It's like a kind of a folk horror movie, like a kind of a Wicker Man type of narrative. So I can highly recommend that one if you haven't seen it. Eye of the Devil, great movie. Brian's saying to Jeff, is that the story with Joan Collins? Kevin, I can remember first seeing The Fearless Vampire Killers on TV in the 70s. Great film. Yeah, definitely. I've got the Blu-ray. Great movie. Yeah, I might do a special review of that soon, guys. The Fearless Vampire Killers, you know, an in-depth review of it. So stay tuned for that. Jeff, no, Brian Gilson. It's the one about the guy who goes back in time and rides an old bike. Yeah, Uncle Albus. Yeah, he goes back in time. Tales that Witness Matters. He goes back in time. He goes on the Penny Farthing, and he's riding the Penny Farthing. He goes back in time, and he ends up in his park from the Victorian era, and all people dressed in Victorian clothing. And it's this creepy fella in it, like a deerstalker hat. It's good, that one. I had a blast watching that. Tales that Witness Madness. Yeah, a lot of people thought it was an Amicus movie. It's not. It's not an Amicus movie, not to my knowledge, anyway. But yeah, I'd highly recommend that. If you like your horror portmanteau movies in the 70s, I highly recommend you check out that one. Tales that Witness Matters. Joan Collins is in that one. She's in the one where Michael Jason, he plays a husband. He gets obsessed with this, it's like a kind of a tree trunk. I think he finds it in his garden or in the water. It's got like arms, like it's like a little miniature, like tree trunk dwarf object, and he's obsessed with it. And he brings it into his house, and he puts it in front of the fire. He takes it to bed with him, and he says, "Do you love me? Do you love me?" Oh God, yeah, absolutely hilarious. And that, yeah, they got the balance right there, guys, with horror and comedy. With that Tales that Witness Madness, it's a great one. I had a blast watching that. So if you haven't seen Tales that Witness Madness, I highly recommend you check that out. You'll enjoy it, believe me. Right, am I dead? Yes, I still have most. What? Sorry, I just it's just the title of your screen name. I still have most of my DVDs, but must admit I do watch Netflix on laptops sometimes. Right. Sorry, I wasn't laughing at you. I was just laughing when I read out the name. Am I dead? Yes. People who just tuned in, they wondering what I'm on about. Right, Chestnut 7, walk on, nice catch with the Fearless Vampire Killers, and for 30 pence too. Definitely, yeah, definitely good bargain there. Any of you guys ever buy movies from companies like Wow HD? They're quite good, but sometimes they can take ages to come. Yeah, Wow HD. As I said before, Film Treasures, they're a very good company, and I buy a lot of my physical media from eBay and Amazon as well. You know, but some of the American companies, if you buy directly from them, you pay really exorbitant prices, you know, for the postage and that, and the tax and that. So I always try to use what I do, guys. I always try to use a price comparison site. So there's one good one. What is it called? Blu-ray comparison. Where you just type in the name of a movie, and you get all the stockists that's got it, and you just pick the cheapest one. So I use that quite often. Yeah, Blu-ray comparison checker, I think it's called. So yeah, so it seems like you could just go and blind buy a movie. You could pay 30 quid for a movie, and you could end up kicking yourself when you see subsequently that it's getting sold on eBay for 14 quid. You know, so you've always got to make sure before you splash out, you're getting a new one, but you're getting the cheapest one. You know, the cheapest one that's available. Walk on Always Believe is saying, as soon as I spotted the Fearless Vampire Killers DVD, I thought, Alan loves this. I've got to check it out. I've never seen a Sharon Tate motion picture, so I'm really looking forward to it. You'll have a blast with that. I love that one. My mum hates it. I can't get her to like it at all. You know, You know, she just doesn't like it. You know, I love it. You know, of course, she's not really one for that kind of comedy. She's more like for the kind of normal everyday life kind of comedy. But I don't mind that horror comedy genre. I love it. And as I say, the Fearless, also known as Pardon Me, but Your Teeth Are in My Neck. Yeah, and Dance of the Vampires. It's had a couple of titles, that the Sharon Tate movie. But yeah, oh yeah, you'll have a blast watching that. It's a great one. Kevin's saying, my son's mum loves ABBA, Alan. Oh yeah, one of the greatest groups ever, ABBA. Yeah, I've still got the paraphernalia upstairs, Kev, what I bought in the 70s, you know. Always bought the ABBA magazine, always bought their posters, their annuals. I've got their annuals. I've got their albums now on compact disc. But oh yeah, and of course, my favourite member was Agnieszka. You know, I thought she was absolutely gorgeous. You know, lovely singer as well. She had a lovely mellifluous voice. You know, especially when she sang songs like Chiquitita and SOS. You know, but oh yeah, one of the best groups ever, ABBA. And I always loved it when he used to come on Top of the Pops in person, which is very, very rare. You know, it was always like what they used to do. Whenever they brought a single out, they'd always show a promotional video, and that would sort of like suffice because they couldn't make it to the countries. Agnetha didn't like flying. You know, it's a known fact she didn't like flying. So what they done, they promoted a lot of their singles via the use of videos. You know, but yeah, very, very rare they appeared live on Top of the Pops. I always remember them appearing live on the Mike Yarwood show in 1978, and it was fantastic. You know, and it was all the more exciting because as I say, you didn't see them much on telly. British telly. They sang 2 numbers on that show. If it wasn't for the nights, and Thank You for the Music. But oh yeah, fantastic. And then they went to, in February 1979, they went to Switzerland to make ABBA in Switzerland, and also the BBC made a spin-off show called Snowtime Special. I don't know if you guys ever remember that, those 2 shows, but they're fantastic. Yeah, I watched them. I lost count of the times I watched ABBA in Switzerland. Yeah, but oh yeah, love ABBA, always will. Tony Crosby, my pet hate is DVD series box sets where you have to take the cover out of the case to see which episode is on what disc number. Yeah, you generally find that so with a lot of these big bulky shell clamp cases, don't you? You know, absolute pain when they're not in their individual cases. I know what you mean. So Brian's saying to Jeff, oh, I remember that one, right? Jeff's saying to Brian, I know a lot of people, even reviewers, who didn't know what the story was about, right? Walk On Always Believers saying, yesterday and today I was putting my collection in A to Z. I have 7,000-ish films. That's great, that. Fantastic. I did half, then I picked up 40-ish DVDs today. Now I have to take everything off the shelves and start again. Ha ha, oh God. Rather you than me. Brian saying to Jeff, it is quite confusing. Jeff saying, haha, yes. Kevin saying, I love the dark side. Kevin saying, I love the dark side books, and I have a couple of books on Tygon films. Yeah, I've got those dark side specials. They're great. Yeah. And Tygon films, which are superb. Yeah. Tygon were a great company, weren't they? Yeah, definitely. Richard Brown, Jay and Asher, ABBA. You like your redheads, Dan Allen. Now, ABBA, I said Agnetha. I didn't say Frida. I must correct you. I must hasten to correct you, Richard. I said Agnieszka, although I did like Frida. My favourite girl was Agnieszka. Yeah. So no, I'm not a redhead. I'm not a fan of redheads. I'm a blonde man. I like blonde girls. I like dark girls. My dad loved dark girls, you know, especially if they have long black hair. But I'm a blonde person. I like girls with long. I don't like it short. The hair. I like the long blonde hair look, which most fellas did. Let's face it, most fellas did prefer Agnieszka. You know, although Frida had her fans as well. You know, but Agnieszka, she was they often called her the glamour girl of the group, didn't he? And she also got a leg pull, didn't she, for having the if you've got ABBA the movie, Richard, you'll see where she's getting interviewed in the press conference in early 1977. And one of the journalists approaches the subject. You have been described in the press as the proud owner of the sexiest bottom in the world. And Agnieszka, she pauses for a bit and she laughs. She said, how should I know? I've never seen it, you know. So, oh yeah, that's a great one, that ABBA the movie. Yeah, but my mum doesn't like the part with the little story with the disc jockey in, you know, played by Robert Hughes. He's trying to get an interview with them, isn't he? And she reckons that spoils it. I didn't mind it. Like, I wasn't crazy about it. It would have been nice if he'd done maybe something like more like Elvis, That's the Way It Is, where I'm like sort of like put like a little fictional story in. But it didn't really bother me too much, you know. But we once said he's irritating that disc jockey. He's running all over his microphone and that. I've just missed ABBA. I've just missed ABBA, and he's getting knocked back all the time by the security guards, isn't he? You know. But oh yeah, I love ABBA the movie. Walk On Always Believer says, there's snobby collectors out there who are like, if you buy the DVD, you're not a true fan because it's not the highest quality, which is pathetic quality. It doesn't define a true fan. I love DVDs. Most are great. Oh, you get them everywhere, don't you? You know, you get them like that, trying to sort of like be argumentative. You just let that go over your head. Yeah, just some people are never satisfied unless they're having a moan, are they? Chestnut 7, she was cute, Jane and Alfie too. I haven't seen Jane Asher in Alfie. Tony Crosby, the most Blu-rays I have are Ken Russell movies, right? Was that Devil's, is that Devil's House on Blu-ray? That was Ken Russell, wasn't it? With Oliver Reed. Come on, guys, just getting back up with the comments. Right. Okay, Kevin's saying, I got a few films from the Indicator sale, 3 Fu Manchu titles and a film noir title called The Garment Jungle. I've seen a clip of that Garment Jungle, yeah. I'll have to check that one out. Abrasius Productions is saying, I have the complete series of the original Twilight Zone on DVD. I've considered creating my own atmospheric anthology series called Shadows of Humanity. Oh, go for it, mate, yeah. A lot of people are making their own movies now, aren't they? These shorts as well. Haven't you guys ever seen these short little horror movies that get put on YouTube? I've watched quite a few of them. They're quite creepy, some of them. One of them I watched a couple of, last year, and it was like a precursor to Smile. You know, this girl, I think she was at a late night train station, there's this girl over the road, and she kept smiling at her all the time. So maybe that was like, maybe they got the idea from that video, you know, for Smile, the movie Smile. But oh yeah, there's some real creepy short little horror movies there. If you delve in deep to YouTube, I'll tell you what I like, guys, on YouTube. I don't know if any of you have watched them. You know, those photographs, they show about 10 or 20 photographs, and they've got like a creepy backstory. Oh, they're great. They're they're creepy. They really are, you know. Like, for instance, like they're showing you this couple and that, and they say something like, 5 minutes after this photo was taken, they were knocked over by a train, or they done a murder or something like that. Oh, they're creepy. They really are creepy. So if you like true cases like creepy photographs, I highly advise you to check them out. Just like photos with creepy backstories. Yeah, oh yeah, there's loads of them. There really is, and some of them are really blood curdling, you know, because they look so ordinary. The people are posing and that, you know. There's some Christmas ones as well. They've got Santa Claus suits on, but some of them are bloody killers and that, you know. Oh yeah, or they've been killed like right after the photograph. Oh yeah, definitely check those out. They're really, you know, they're quite creepy. Lee Richards, the British late 60s spooky anthology series, Journey to the Unknown. I love that series. Has never been released on any physical media. I wish someone like Indicator or the BFI would get the rights and release it. Me too. Yeah, I've trumpeted that desire for quite some time now. You know, I'd love to see Journey to the Unknown. You know, get a good Blu-ray release with piles of extras and that. But you never know. Fingers crossed, some company might pick it up and release it on a Blu-ray one day. You know, we can only live in hope, can't we? You know, some great stories and that. Oh, I particularly remember the one where the girl was locked in the library late at night. That's creepy. And the one with Dennis Waterman and Carol Lindley, the mannequin doll. That's a good one. And the one where the girl goes to the bed and breakfast. Yeah, and it's creepy, that one, where she goes to stay at the seaside bed and breakfast. Yeah, I used to love the opening as well to that. Lee, you know, when it opened, it had like the creepy fairground, didn't it? And had like a whistling sound as well. Oh, it's great. Journey to the Unknown. We used to watch it late at night. It used to be on. I'm not sure it was on Saturday or Friday. I can't remember. It's so long ago. But oh yeah, definitely. So if there's any owners watching this video of Blu-ray companies, DVD companies, get that out on it. Get Journey to the Unknown out. Get the rights and get it out on a Blu-ray or DVD. I think it would sell very, very well for you, with especially with horror fans. Right, Abracious Productions is saying, Wait Until Dark, 1967. It's definitely an underrated horror film. Wait Until Dark. I don't think I've seen that one. Who's in that? It rings a bell. Wait Until Dark. Stephen's saying the Thriller series is a good DVD box set. Yeah, you mean the Brian Clements one? Yeah, it's great, that one. Well, I want the I've got the British one, but I want the what's the name one from Australia? I forget the name. Imprints, yeah. Because they done one with all they done with special features on Brian Clements, comments on every single episode, and lovely presentation as well. So I've been looking for that all over, and I can't get it. But you never know; they might release that on Blu-ray. I just hope they do. You know, I'd definitely be first in line to get that. I especially love the one with Donna Mills in, with the haunted car, One Deadly Owner. That's one of my favourites. That. And the one with Diana Dawes, where she plays like an agent of the devil. She's like in the form of like this sort of like nurse and that. She goes to look after this girl who's lying in bed, you know, ill and that. And she's really an agent of the devil. That's quite creepy, that one. Nurse Will Make It Better, it's called. They're all good though. I loved all those episodes. Walk On, Always Believe. I started doing what you do near my birthday and Christmas. I treat myself to a nice set. Yeah, that's what I do now. Yeah. It used to be computer games. Before that, it used to be board. When I was much younger, it used to be board games and annuals. And now me regular Christmas treats are buying a nice box set or two of some of my favorite movies. Yeah. So oh yeah, love it. Yeah, fantastic. Abracious Productions, I really like your voice sound. Oh, thanks very much, mate. Yeah. Typical Birkenhead. I sound like Paul O'Grady. Yeah. Oh, very sad to hear about him. You know. Yeah, he went to my school, Corpus Christi. Paul O'Grady. Yeah, I just missed him by a couple of years, and he had the same teacher as me as well, Sister Nunziata. She was my first teacher in Corpus Christi. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I used to love Paul O'Grady. When he done that Lily Savage, you know, oh, fantastic. Yeah. And his tea time show, the Paul O'Grady show. Oh, I used to look forward to that because he had some good guests on in there. Yeah. And he was very, very down to earth, wasn't he? Yeah. Very, very sad. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, he was a great man, Paul O'Grady. I loved his biographies as well, especially his first one, At My Mother's Knee. Fantastic. Brian Gilson saying, Jeff Joffrey, haha, I love The House That Dripped Blood. That's one of my favourites, that. Yeah, especially the Christopher Lee one with his daughter. The mother was a witch, and she had the bloody voodoo doll, the pin and the voodoo doll in the chest, and you just hear him screaming then from upstairs. That's a great one. And yeah, and the one with like a little nod to the horror movies, with the one with John Pertwee, where he plays this arrogant horror star, and he buys this cloak, doesn't he? Turns him into a bloody vampire. That's a good one. Now, I love The House That Dripped Blood. It's one of my all-time favourite Amicus films. Yeah, love Amicus. Walk On Always Believe says, I love your reactions, especially when you can't stand the film they got. What shall I rate it as? I laugh every time because I know it'll be a low... I know it'll be a low rating. I don't pull any punches, me. When I don't like a film, I don't like a film. Oh, haha! After hearing your thoughts, oh yeah. If I don't like a film, I either give it 0 or 1, you know, to just express me total dissatisfaction with the latest pile of tripe, you know. But I don't like, as I think I've said it before, guys, I don't like, criticizing like a lot of films, because with me being an ardent film buff. I like to find good in every, if I can possibly find good in every movie what I watch. But let's face it, guys, there's a hell of a lot of tripe getting made now. There really is. too many teenagers. They mumble their lines, stupid plots, and those bloody flashbacks, and those jump cuts, those bloody jump cuts. Yeah, but there's a lot of things now, guys. And the colour as well on some of these movies. I call it a dirty dishwater colour. There's hardly any colour in it. Very, very drab, milky kind of smudgy colour. And as I say, the actors don't pronounce the lines properly, and all this woke nonsense is creeping in, especially with Disney. Oh God, that's a real horror show now with Disney. I won't get too political about Disney. But they tampered with a lot of the stories, like, Tinkerbell and all that. And he made a right mess of them and that, But, as I say, I don't pull any punches. If I don't like a film, I don't like a film, And sometimes you find yourself cursing at the screen and that. This is a bloody load of rubbish, this. I'm switching this off, as I'm sure a lot of you guys do when you don't like a film. This is a bloody crap, this, or words to that effect. You just reach for the off switch, don't you? And whenever I do a review, guys, I like to be honest. I don't like to sugarcoat. I don't believe in sugarcoating things. If something's crap, it's crap. It's got to be said. Yeah. So I'm glad you like me. I'm glad you like me style of criticism. Anyway. Yeah. Thanks very much. Right. Get back to the comments, guys. Right, Brian Gilson is saying, Lover's Lane is a really good slasher. I think you will enjoy it. Oh, I hope so. Yeah, cheers, Brian. Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching that, Lover's Lane. Lee Richards says, Hammer dubbed Valerie Leon's voice in Blood from the Mummy's Tomb. Oh, did they now? Oh, I didn't know that. And Leon Green's in Devil Rides Out, and Charles Gray voiced for Jack Hawkins in 70s horror films, because Jack Hawkins had throat cancer. I remember him being bad with his throat, Jack Hawkins, yeah. Abracious Productions is saying, this Sunday, I'm visiting the flea market with $30 for the first time in 3 years to pick up a few VHS tapes and DVD. I'm so excited. Oh, great. And you just can't hide us. Yeah, I hope you're managed to get some good ones. Richard Brown says, Edward Woodward is amazing in The Wicker Man. He certainly is, playing the ill-fated Sergeant Howie. I think one of Edward Woodward's, aside from The Equalizer and Callum, one of Ed Woodward's finest performances. Yeah, great actor. Very, very keen war gamer as well, by all accounts. Yeah, like Peter Cushing. He had a big collection of model soldiers and that. I used to be into war games. Yeah, in the 70s, and I stopped, and I went back again in the 80s. I used to get the little Apex figures from Woolies and Shellcrossers, the toy shop up at Birkenhead where I lived. I used to get the Apex figures and that, and paint them up, and have battles with them and that. But I got fed up painting all the figures, because it takes forever and a day, guys, painting all the Napoleonics up and that. I used to get the humble paints and that, and paint them up. But I just got fed up, guys, and plus there wasn't no war gamers in my area I could sort of like pit my wits against, so I didn't. The interest waned. So. But yeah, Peter Cushing had he had loads of ancients, I believe, ancients for his ancient war game and battles. Oh, thousands of ancient figures, model soldiers. Yeah, right. Jeff's saying, I guess Hammer had a dubbing department which they used. Probably right, Jeff. Yeah, he probably did have a dubbing department which they used, whether they required it or not. Jenny has a lovely voice. She certainly does. Jenny Hanley, yeah. And the person who dubbed Jenny sounded just like Jenny. Crazy. I know, yeah, I don't know why they done that, Hammer. I always hate it when I hear, I've enjoyed the movie. I always hate it when I've heard that the actor's voice was dubbed. Oh, it does me head in, it really does. Am I dead? Yes. Not enough Mayday horror films. Lol, Midsummer one also. Yeah, Midsummer. When you know my thoughts on Midsummer, if you watch my rather, shall we say, unfavourable review. I must give it though. It's a beautifully shot movie. Oh yeah, one of the best looking movies I've ever seen on Blu-ray. Midsummer. It's just a great pity they didn't squeeze it down. They had a lot of fat on it. They could have cut out a lot of fat and made it like an 85-minute movie. It might have worked better then. Went on too long, guys, and a bit ridiculous the way they stayed in the camp after that. The member throwing himself off the cliff and smashing to bits on the rocks. They stayed there, all these dodgy things going on. So that killed unfortunately, guys, that killed every aspect of credibility for me. So, but as I say, it was a lovely, beautifully shot movie, Midsummer. Jeff's saying to Brian, we were all laughing at John Pertwee. John Pertwee in the house that dripped blood, but he was terrifying at the end. I know, yeah, he became a vampire. Yeah, he was a right arrogant sod, wasn't he, in that? Yeah, he said about when he sort of like he's dissatisfied with the props, isn't he? He's got this cane and he smashes it. He doesn't like it. He just puts his cane through it, And he says about like he broaches the subject about the old horrors. Oh, you can't beat the old horrors, Frankenstein, the Mummy, Dracula, and then he goes, not the new fella, of course. Me and Christopher Lee, yeah, that's a little sort of like not to Christopher Lee, yeah, but oh yeah, and Ingrid Pitt looked lovely in that as well, didn't she? Yeah. Graham Powell, the Wicker Man. Stephen Davis dubbing Ingrid Pitt in Countess Dracula really annoyed me. Yeah. Say like I don't know why they done that, Hammer. Jeff's saying, found footage, just a lazy excuse not to set up proper camera angles, yeah? Jeff's saying, Stephen Davis, Ingrid hated that. I can imagine she did. Brian Gilson, Jeff Joffrey, that is a really good story. I also like the Peter Cushing story, yeah? Chestnut Step 7, they also dubbed Susan Denberg in Frankenstein Created Woman. Oof. Ridiculous, dubbing the actors' voices. Jeff's saying yes. Gina, Jeff, yes, I agree. Richard Brown, got the 2 Kenneth Williams books, Diaries and Letters. Oh, good. Yeah, I've got them today after watching your book haul video. I hope you enjoyed them. I haven't started them yet, Richard, so I'm looking forward very much, to starting them. Yeah, I got his biography as well, but unfortunately, the one he wrote himself, it didn't come, so I had to get my money back. But yeah, very good. I'm glad you got those 2 books. Hope you enjoyed them anyway. Jeff, cheers to Gina, yeah. Stephen Davis, too much kung fu coming from the boutique labels lately. I don't like kung fu. I've never liked kung fu. I didn't even like the 70s series with David Carradine. I didn't like that. One of the Hammer films, I think one of my worst Hammer films was The Legend of the 7 Golden Vampires. I thought the Dracula, the guy who played Dracula, it looked as if he'd just come out of he'd overdone it in a bloody beauty parlor. The way he sort of like put all powder over his face and like red lippy and that, and the way he just looked like he'd just come out of a beauty parlor. He just didn't look scary, guys. Not a patch on Christopher Lee, and I thought it was rather. I think it was like he was like a fish out of water, Dracula, and that, putting them in Hong Kong and that. It's sort of like it diluted the dark gothic atmosphere, what you would normally equate with Dracula movies, in my opinion. I don't know what you think about that, The Legend of the 7 Golden Vampires, but it's not one of my favorites, and as such, that is why I haven't added it to my Hammer collection, because I just don't like the movie. I've watched it countless times and I don't like it. I just can't get into it at all. Yeah. So yeah, The Legend of the 7 Golden Vampires was a very, very poor way of ending Dracula, the Dracula franchise, in my opinion. And and Christopher Lee was conspicuous by his absence. Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm not a great fan of that. I don't like Captain Kronos either. The other Hammer vampire movie they made around about that time. Not a great fan of that. Captain Kronos. Yeah. But on the whole, obviously, most of the movies were good, but just a couple of those turkeys that ruined them for me. Tony's saying, I'm sick of waiting for the new Salem's Lot trailer coming out. It's taking ages, that, isn't it? Yeah. I'm not really being a huge fan of the David Soul 1979 version. I'm not holding my breath that this will be an improvement or even equally. You know, I've been that disappointed that many times by remakes. I've become very cynical now, guys, about remakes for horror movies. I just said, oh, yeah, you know, sort of like, you know, lukewarm, like, yeah, can't get excited anymore, guys, with, you know, remakes and that. Yeah, just, yeah, gone past that point now. Am I Dead? Yes. Blair Witch Project was the first horror film I was old enough to see in the cinema. Yeah, I'm not a great fan of that. As I said before, I don't like found footage. I hate it. I think found footage is one of the worst things that's ever happened to the horror genre, as well as woke, you know, found footage. Jeff's saying the gay vampire in the Fearless Vampire Killers was absolutely terrifying. I know, yeah. Oh, God, yeah. He chased Polanski all around the castle, didn't he? Yeah. He was creepy, yeah, definitely. You've got the balance right with that, guys, that Fearless Vampire Killer. As I said before, a bit like American Werewolf in London, they got the balance just right with that Sharon Tate movie. So if you haven't seen it, excuse me, I highly recommend that you get yourself a copy. Tony Crosby saying, I would love to see That'll Be the Day in Stardust with a DVD commentary by David Essex. Yeah. Two of my favorite movies. I've got them on Blu-ray. I love those movies. That'll Be the Day in Stardust. Yeah. Adam Faith, he's fantastic as his manager, isn't he? Yeah. And Ringo Starr on the first one, working on the fairground and that. Yeah. I always remember that movie coming out in the summer of 1973. It was really advertised on the telly, and I couldn't wait to see it and that. And of course, when it came out on Blu-ray, I did have the DVDs like prior to the Blu-rays. When it came out on Blu-ray, the two of them, I just had to snap them up. I loved those movies. And David Essex, he was fantastic playing Jim McClane, wasn't he? Trying to rise to fame and that, and all the sort of like sharks and that in the rock music industry. Yeah, it painted a pretty accurate picture of all the things you've got to be wary of when you go into that business, because it's not the nicest of businesses, let's face it, to go into, just like acting, Stephen Davis, after 50, the years fly by. Oh, don't I know us? Don't I know us? You're as old as you feel. Richard Brown, I always preferred the title Dance of the Vampires, yeah. Fearless Vampire Killers is the American title, isn't it? I think so, yeah. I like Dance of the Vampires best as well, yeah. Alfie Bass is good at it as well, isn't he? Yeah. Dance of the Vampires is a better title, yeah, definitely. Gina, Jeff, yes, I prefer that title, yeah, definitely. Jeff, I wonder why alternate titles are used. Just one of those... one of those mysteries of a cinema, isn't it? Right, guys, I think I'll go until 10 o'clock as usual. So if you want to ask me anything at all, get your questions in. I'll answer as many as I can. Gina's saying, I wondered that too. Yeah. Richard Brown, they changed the title of Dance of the Vampires so Americans wouldn't think it was a musical. All right. Lee Richards is saying, I can never understand people who prefer streaming. I can't either. When you have DVD or Blu-ray, you own the film and it's yours to keep forever. Exactly. You never own a film when it's streamed, the platform that stream it does. I know, yeah. And another thing about streaming, Lee, they can take a movie off whenever they want. They don't have to keep the movie on. You could watch a movie, one of your favorite movies, and a couple of months later you might fancy revisiting it. And if it's been taken off, it'd be very annoying, But yeah, the only reason I watch the odd streaming movie is if a movie comes out and I want to make sure, it's all right before I splash out for the Blu-ray. Granted, I've slipped up a couple of times. I've been seduced by the covers, and as I said, in Asda, I've just bought. It's only a couple of quid more than what I'd pay per stream, and $5.99. But it's best, as my mum says, it's best to watch them first to see if you like them, and then and only then fork out if you like them. Obviously, add them to collection, but watch them on streaming first. Rent them for $3.49. Sometimes you have deals on, don't they, for $1.99, yeah. So I'm glad I've done that with the Oliver Reed one last night, actually. So because that was free, because I'm a member of Amazon Prime. But it's best really to check them out first and that before you venture to buy But there you go. But physical media all the way for me, definitely. Gina's saying, "Oh, Richard, that makes sense." Yeah. Another question for you guys: have you got a favorite box set? What a favorite horror box set? What you revisit, you know, in your collection? What you love and you never get tired of watching? Yeah, feel free to discuss. Yeah, be very interested. Yeah, as I said, that one I bought, that Grudge. It's very, very disappointing. Very, very slow. I don't think, to be honest with you guys, I don't think those Grudge movies are scary at all. You've got like the blue boy, haven't you, sitting on the stairs, and then you've got the what's the mother's name? It's Sadako. She just crawls down the stairs like that, and he used the CGI and that. The same thing. Those Grudge movies. I do prefer The Ring. You know, I'm not a great fan of the Grudge. You know, I don't think they're scary at all. But what do you guys think of the Grudge movies? Do you think they're scary? Gina, Tony, yeah. Abrasius Productions. My pet hate is how difficult it is to get the discs out of TV series box sets. Oh yeah, you risk breaking the disc just to get the damn thing out. I know, yeah. Know what you mean. Sometimes you've got to be careful as well when you're opening the package and you don't rip the slipcover. You know, it happened to me once or twice. Jeff's saying the Satanic Rites of Dracula, also known as Count Dracula's Vampire Bride. I know, which I prefer. Yeah, the Satanic Rites of Dracula. Hammer had a good knack, didn't he, of putting eye-catching titles to headline the movies. Yeah, they were great at doing that. Dracula's Risen from the Grave, The Plague of the Zombies, Taste the Blood of Dracula. Sort of rolled off the tongue, didn't it? You know, yeah. But the Satanic Rites of Dracula is that's a better title than that corny one with the other face. Was it Dracula is dead and well and living in London, something like that. Yeah, but the Satanic Rites of Dracula, that sort of like sends more horror alarm bells ringing, doesn't it? Yeah, and I love the opening scene as well, where you see like London, the traffic in London, and you see Dracula's shadow, and it grows gradually bigger and bigger until it hoovers over London, doesn't it? And you've got that iconic music as well. Oh, that's a great opening of that. Satanic Rites of Dracula. Danny Dukes, hi, how are you? I am good. I'm not too bad, thanks, Dan. Thanks for dropping by. Leo Prescott, hi. You okay? Leo Prescott, do you like the story on the Cecil Hotel? The Cecil Hotel, is that a haunted hotel in America, is it? Walk on, always believe. I spoke to Pete a while back. I'm thinking of doing a short horror. I have many ideas, and Pete said he'd be happy to be in it, and it'd be awesome. Oh, that's great if you would too. I'd have to start learning how to memorize lines, wouldn't I? If I acted in a horror film, yeah. It depends on what it would be like. I've often thought about doing my own little horror short and that, you know. So just write a little script and that, and do say 5 or 10 minutes. So watch the space anyway, yeah. Interesting. Abrasius Productions says, I have never heard of The Dark Side. Tell me about it. I'm always keen to discover new vintage series and films. The Dark Side is a magazine. It's a British magazine. It started in the late 80s and it's published by Dark Side Publications, and the editor is Alan Bryce. So it's well worth checking out. Oh, are you talking about? I've just thought on there. Are you talking about the TV series, The Dark Side? Because when I saw The Dark Side, automatically the magazine clicked in my head, because we touched on that before, didn't we? The Dark Side is an American horror anthology series that was first screened in the mid-80s. And it's basically different stories, a bit like the Twilight Zone, you know. But I didn't think much of it, to be honest. I didn't think it was as good as Tales from the Crypt, to be honest with you. The Dark Side, yeah. He had like the same voice introducing it every week, and that, you know, saying about the dark side, you know, in a sinister voice, very atmospheric. You know, he's seen this creepy forest and that, you know, yeah, a very, very weird voice and that. But the stories left a lot to be desired. So, but that's just my opinion. But because I do know a lot of people like it. I do know a lot of people like the Dark Side series. So, yeah, it's just a matter of opinion, really. But you never know. You might like it if you check it out. Richard Brown saying, isn't there a thriller episode set in the library? If you mean the Brian Clements one, yeah, I think there is. Yeah, there's something to do with, is it a killer in the library? It's ages since I've watched it, but I know the one you mean. Yeah, there is one set in the library. Do you like the story? I don't even know what the Hotel Cecil is, Leo. Richard Brown, isn't Audrey Hepburn in Wait Until Dark? I believe she is. Does she play a blind lady? Walk on, always believe. If you're wondering what I look like, I did a video on Jim Jam movies to show I'm real. I'm real because sadly there's a lot of fakers out there. We went movie hunting. Oh, let's have a look at that. Yeah, cheers. Yeah, I'll check that out. Thanks. Tony Crosby says the horror movies of John Rowling are underrated gems. I've seen a couple of his. Yeah, a couple of them. Yeah, didn't he do one called Vampires? Yeah, I haven't seen too many of them though. Leo Priska, do you think they should open the hotel? What's this Hotel Cecil? Don't get it. Gina Walpole, Tony, I love the films of John Rowling. Yeah. Right, guys, we've got 10 minutes. I'll wind it up at 10 o'clock. So if you've got any questions, anything you'd like to ask me, just get them in. I'll do my best to try and answer as many as I can before I sign off for the night. I've enjoyed it anyway, guys. Thanks very much for turning up. Yeah, I've enjoyed it. I'm not a short Gene Rowling fan. I'll have to check out more of this Gene Rowling. Dr. Impossible saying Journey to the Unknown has rights issues. Plus 20th Century Fox Television partly funded the series. It's a Disney-owned series. Oh, Disney, even though it's part Hammer. Oh, right, yeah. I didn't know Disney partly owned that. But it's a great series. I just hope it comes out on Blu-ray. Lee's saying, if people like creepy shorts, check out Panic on YouTube. It's a late 70s spooky 20-minute British chiller, sadly never released on DVD or Blu-ray. I think it was shown with Alien in cinemas in 1979. I'll have to check that out. Panic on YouTube. Yeah, I'll check that out. Thanks for that, Lee. Stephen Davis is saying The Living Dead Girl. Oh, yeah, that was Gene Rowling. Yeah, Fascination and Grapes. I've got Grapes of Death. Yeah, I forgot that was a Gene Rowling movie. Yeah, I like Grapes of Death. Yeah, I've heard of The Living Dead Girl. Haven't seen it. I've heard of Fascination. Haven't seen it. I'll have to check those out. Yeah, yeah, The Living Dead Girl, especially. Richard Brown, Demoniacs. Yeah. Gina, Richard, yes, Demoniacs is great, yeah. Abrasius Productions, those bloody flashbacks. I love the way you talk, yeah. I wish I was born British, honestly, yeah. Yeah, those bloody flashbacks and those bloody jump cuts. We two catchphrases, guys, I've adopted, yeah. Lee's saying, I find that many new horror films are too dark. Yeah, they are too dark, Lee. I agree with you, yeah. And you can't hear them. Can't they afford proper lighting and microphones? I know, yeah. Yeah, they're too dark, yeah. You know, compare them to the lovely colour of the Hammer movies and the Amicus movies, yeah. Yeah, my mum said that, and all of these films are too dark. Yeah, you can hardly see what's going on. Half the time, you can't even hear a word what they're bloody saying. These actors, like, you know, these sort of like, they speak quick and they mumble the lines. I've done a video on it last year, actually, about all these things that spoil modern horror movies for me. But yeah, you're right. Yeah, too dark. Yeah. And I said before about some of the 4Ks, the dirty dishwater colour, I call it. Yeah, dirty, horrible, smudgy dishwater colour. I had one the other a 4K, guys, the other day. Was it Hell of the Living Dead, where they go into the jungle like a zombie movie? Oh, it's terrible, guys. It was really bad. 4K, yeah. Lovely slipcover though, but the story was utterly atrocious. Yeah, it was awful, and it's stupid decisions again, where they're sort of like the protagonists, they're in the jungle, and they're confronted by this group of I think it's mercenaries and that, either mercenaries or zombies. And what do? Instead of running away from them, they run straight through them. Well, they could bloody get hold of them and tear them to pieces. Oh, stupid! I've seen that scene once before, where instead of running away from the monster or the killer, they run straight towards them. You know, in the vain hope that they can sort of like negotiate them, get past them. Oh, bad mistake. You know, I don't know how they get away with these boo-boos, guys. I really don't. Stephen Davis, CGI, bland actors, woke jump cuts, shaky camera work. Why I hate modern films. You could do a book on it, couldn't you, Steve? Yeah, so many things wrong now with these modern films. They've got no imagination. You know, they're just rehashing. They're rehashing a lot of things that's been done again and again and again and again. You know, teenagers, more bloody I always say to me mum when a horror movie starts, oh, bloody teenagers in again. Effing and blinding and bonking in the woods and that, you know, no substance to the characters, plastic cardboard cutouts. Oh, no. I prefer the old horror movies, guys, with Karloff, Lee, Lugosi, Chin Jr., all them, Peace of LA, Basil Rathbone. They're my horror movies. I don't like a lot of this stuff now is pure crap, let's face it. You can barely count the number of modern horror movies now, guys, on one hand. Dr. Impossible says, Alan Arkin as Rose in Wait Until Dark is just incredible as the main actress in the film. Mrs. Hepburn, creepy and psychotic. Yeah, I have to check that one out. Gina Walpole, Tony. Yes, I love the Iron Rose. I've got the Iron Rose. Yeah, that's another Gene Rowland movie, isn't it? Yeah, it's a good one. That's a bit slow to start off, but it's not a bad little movie. Right, guys, we've just got a couple of minutes before I sign off for the night. So, yeah, thanks very much again for turning up. I really enjoyed it, and it just flew over, you know. But I think 2 hours is about enough, you know. I think that's more than adequate, you know, to do a reasonable stream. And yeah, all going well. I hope to be back again next Thursday with another live. I don't know what the subject's going to be, so but I'll put the thing on anyway. The usual preliminary promo thumbnail. Right, I'm just going to try and race through as many of these before I go. Danny Duke says, I like everyone's point of view on a film, even if good or bad. It helps people decide if the film is worth guessing. Yeah. Abrasius Productions to Gina. I reviewed a Jean Rowland film on my channel, The Grapes of Death. Good film. Very eerie atmosphere piece. Yeah, it's a good one. Now I've got that in my collection. Kevin William. Edward Woodward played a war game in the film Callan. Yeah. Walk on, always believe. I'm similar, Alan. If I love a film, I'll say it. If I despise a film, I'll say it. Even if I'm the only one who can't stand it, I'll still say it. But if some likes it, then that's awesome. But not for me. Yeah, I know where you're coming from. Definitely. Richard Brown. Bridget LaHale was a big plus in John Rowland films, right? Gina Walpole. Abrasius, I'll check that out. Thanks. Yeah. 3 minutes to go, guys, and then I'll sign off with a nice. Abrasius Productions. Oh, thanks, Gina. I really appreciate it. Tony Crosby. Yeah, The Grapes of Death is a good one, Gina. Yeah. Richard Brown. Midsummer is a black comedy, Alan. Yeah. Very, very long, no. Stephen Davis. Richard Brown. Bridget LaHale was wasted in porn. Oh, we don't discuss that on here. Dr. Impossible. Another ITV series I was thinking about was called Haunted. ABC TV made it for ITV. All of the episodes were junked. None survive. All I have is episode stills, right? Abrasius Productions. Something about the desolate landscapes and the Grapes of Death really allured me, yeah. Abrasius Productions. One day I want to create films that replicate the beauty and grittiness of the past, yeah. Some of those kitchen sink dramas do a good job in recreating the grittiness of the past, especially. I watched The Room at the Top the other night with Lawrence Harvey. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Great movie, yeah. And I watched the sequel as well, Life at the Top. Wasn't quite as good, but still an enjoyable watch. Yeah, I highly recommend that one. Room at the Top. Yeah, it's a good one. They've done a series as well, Man at the Top, with Kenneth Hay, but wasn't as good. But Room at the Top's an excellent movie. Walk on, always believe. I remember your pool party massacre review. Like you said, the DVD is beautiful, just as good, or even better than Blu-ray. I cried laughing when you said he gave us Possum a few hefty smacks. Oh, that idiot! Yeah, he thought he was God's gift to women. He smacked his backside. Yeah, I don't know. He thought he was like, but yeah. Oh, one of the most ridiculous characters I've ever seen in a film. I might actually do a video one day, guys, of the most annoying, ridiculous characters I've ever seen in a horror movie. I could even do one with ordinary films as well, because there's been some pretty annoying, let's face it, there's been some pretty annoying characters in movies over the years, and I can think of quite a few. I can relate to you, and you most probably laugh at them. Yeah, but yeah, I'm definitely keeping that in mind. My top 10 most annoying and ridiculous characters. So watch this space. So we've got a minute to go, guys. So thanks again for turning off. Really enjoyed it tonight. After being off for a couple of weeks, talking to you all. I hope you all have a nice weekend. If you're going Blu-ray hunting, I hope you manage to pick up some bargains. Just got a couple more comments out the way before I sign off, guys. Right, Tony's saying, I love 70s kung fu movies. The badly dubbed, the better. Yeah, a lot of fans of Bruce Lee, isn't there? It wasn't my cup of tea, like. Stephen Davis, 7 Golden Vampires is getting a UK Blu-ray. Right? Won't be getting it. Brian Gilson, I really love Legend of the 7 Golden Vampires, but I totally respect your view, Alan. Yeah, it's what makes your community great. Yeah, the Kung Fu ruined it for me, but the Kung Fu, I thought it was a very bad match. It was very, very incongruous, to the Dracula narrative. Stephen Davis, what about found footage in Cannibal Holocaust? I've got that on 4K. I haven't watched it yet. It is way better than the Blair Witch. I'll have to watch. Yeah, I've got that in my 4K to watch. Richard Brown, David Essex is good on War of the Whales. I tell you what, I like David Essex singing. It's not one of his most known songs. Imperial Wizard. Yeah, it's a good one. I think it's about a dictator declaring war on states and that. Yeah, it came out and the single was out in charts around about March 1979. It was always played on Radio 1. So if you haven't heard that David Essex one, check Imperial Wizard. It's not to everybody's taste, but I liked it. Yeah, and on that saying note, guys, I can't even speak. I haven't even had a pint of lager. On that note, guys, I shall bid you all a fond good night. Again, thanks for turning up. I've really enjoyed talking to you all, about physical media. Some great topics broached. And as I say, really enjoyed it. And I hope you all have a nice weekend. And again, if you're going out shopping, you're going, DVD or Blu-ray hunting, I hope you manage to pick up some bargains. Yeah. All right then, guys. So thanks again for turning up. I've really enjoyed it. And I love you and leave you all now. All going well. I shall be back again next Thursday evening, same time, same place, with another Alan Scouser live stream. Take care. Bye for now. Bye.